Sorry, we were a little late. Technical difficulties.
CP time.
I want to thank Hef for giving me this interview, and I appreciate him for doing this for me. And
My pleasure.
it's we trying to get everybody right. It's just trying to get everybody right. But I want to introduce Hef. My name is Andrea Lynch. Everybody know me, aka Hot in Cali, aka It's All Hot Air. But I just want to thank Hef for giving me this interview. We got a couple questions I want to know about him. Ain't about me. It's about him today and how his life is. So
Okay.
I asked for the interview. I wanted to know about you. You was intriguing, and I check out your TikTok and your Instagram and your YouTube channel too. So
All right, I appreciate it.
so my first question is, tell me about yourself. Why they call you
Uh,
Big
you said why they call me Big Heff?
Yeah, why they call you Big Hef?
So it's not really like
Hold
uh,
on 1 minute. Um, I had a disclaimer in my chat. Okay, this is an important interview. I don't want people coming in here being disrespectful to my guests or me, or you just gonna get blocked automatically. So I'm letting y'all know already. This is how it is. Go ahead, Hef.
for sure. So it's not really like a name that friends gave me or anything like that. Um, I happen to be into Hugh Hefner's whole movement, and he has some interesting ways of living. And something that sealed the deal for me is when I saw the documentary on how he established Playboy and all of that, and he had some very interesting thoughts behind the women's rights movement, and he wanted to support that movement in his own way. And I got a lot of love for women, so I was like, you know what, I like what he's doing, and I can market myself after some of these ideas.
Okay. You know what? I had a question. Is I'm a football girl since I like football, and
Hmm.
the hot topic is today is we got a black coach suing the NFL.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
Well, the interesting thing about that, like, I like football, I like sports and stuff like that, but I'm not one of the guys who knows all the stats, and I'm just glued into every game and got my team and I'm going crazy about it. But the interesting thing about it is that um, the man is well in his rights. He's trying to make a statement and get rid of some injustice. The thing that's surprising to me is that we don't acknowledge the underlying or blatant racism in most of these institutions, such as NFL. When you look at the fact that 70% of the players are black and there are only two or three people of color in coaching positions in the NFL, that says a lot about how they view the black man. Historically, sports were invented to exercise slaves and keep them in shape. So the NBA, the NFL is only a continuation of those things set in place to, market us as, like cattle rather than people. So, I get your money, black man. Sue they butt. Sue they butt.
Would do you feel do you feel like if the players gather as one on one accord, could change happen?
It depends on the type of change that you would like to see. The beautiful thing is that these guys are well paid,
Mm-hmm.
and we've had the ability to kind of turn the tide with seeing black celebrities, black millionaires, so forth and so on. So if you use it for what it's worth, then you can come out on top. You can leave your family some money, create some generational wealth, and that's more than can be said for most industries in the world.
Okay. All right. You gave me some information. Okay, so I know the last time when I was on, when shout out to Chef, the Nighthawks, of my boys over there. Me and Chef had a conversation because I might have judged you, Hef, because I felt like I gave you some energy, and then I was like, he was like, Andrea, maybe you should interview Hef. I was like, he don't like me. I was like, he don't like me. I gave off some testosterone energy, and he don't like me. And so Chef was like, go back and watch his stuff and see, and then think about it, and then you come back and talk to me. And so I told Chef, one weekend I was chilling, not doing nothing. I watched your TikTok, I watched your Instagram, and I'm like, okay, maybe I prejudged the brother because okay, I ain't gonna lie, the prison was turn me off. Okay, I ain't gonna lie, okay, gonna lie. And so I told Chef I would take his advice and suggestion. So I DM you and I asked you to give me the interview. So if you don't mind, do you mind saying why you was in prison?
Ooh, um, promotion of some illegal substances, and things hit the fan, and I had to go sit down for a while, and
How long were you in prison?
16 months.
16 months. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see, because you're a little different than the other brothers I know. But the question I have is, how do you? I wrote it down because I missed one of my cue cards. I'm so sorry. The question was, I wrote it down. Eh, mm, How do you encourage young men who was incarcerated go from a prison uniform to a custom suit as it yourself?
Well, firstly, you have to market yourself different. You can't be into what's advertised to us as quote unquote cool. Most of the cool kids don't have anything going for themselves. When
Mhm,
you look at social media, you look at the music industry, things that get our attention, that we pay the most attention to, they are meant to allow us to glorify things that won't benefit or value us in the way that they should. So um I was the guy who loved the track suits and the
mhm,
comfortable leisure athletic clothing, but you get treated different.
mhm,
When you walk into a room with a tailor-made suit, the way that people talk to you is so comforting, and the treatment that you get is very welcoming.
mhm,
And not that you should be trying to change yourself and conform so that society treats you a certain way, but me, I like the path of least amount of resistance, and I like the look too. It feels good. I feel like it suits me well, so
mhm.
it's growing on me.
So I heard you tell a tale when it was on Nighthawks that your job that you had, you wore a suit to your job, and they were
Yeah,
saying you need to go back home because your attire was not a job thing.
right.
How did you feel wearing?
Well, I mean, they hired me on the spot.
Mhm,
So,
mhm,
I don't know if the suit helped me get the job on the spot or what the case was, but most of the guys that were coming out of prison that I had the privilege of meeting and knowing, they didn't have the same turnaround rate that I had.
mhm,
A lot of them ended up back in prison because they weren't able to make the transition successfully. And I was able to make that transition in, under 30 days.
Okay, so I know just living life, and some black men do go to prison and they get out. Some of them can't find jobs, they got felonies. So how did you get out of prison and get a job in 30 days when some black men can't get a decent job paying and getting out of prison and find themselves because they have felonies, they can't get a decent job to take care of their family, and they end up going back to prison? How did you not go back and all that?
Well, firstly, that first night in jail, and before I went to prison, I
Okay.
knew that I was about to live way different. I knew that my life had to change by any means necessary. It,
Okay.
it didn't take for the judge to bang the gavel.
Okay.
I, I was reformed before she gave me my sentence.
Okay. Okay.
And if they would have, been able to look into my heart and my mind, they would have known, like, it worked already.
Mhm.
He ain't
Mhm.
finna make this mistake again.
Okay.
Being told what to do, being emasculated, having to undress in front of men and bend over and cough and all this, it was way too much for me. I like cool, serene surroundings. I like being around beautiful women and just that environment, a cool and copacetic environment. And overnight that was all taken away from me, and now I'm taking orders. I can't eat when I want, I can't eat what I want. My daughter is suffering, she can't see her dad. My family is suffering because I can't be the patriarch of the family. So immediately it hit me and dawned on me that I had to do things different and move better. And, it's not like there isn't some benefit and value in illegal activity, because most of the guys that are the biggest criminals in the world are well dressed. They're
Mhm.
not on the streets thugging,
Mhm.
and they're in corporate offices, and they control taxes and politics and things of that nature. And life is going just fine for them.
Mhm.
But the lane of crime that they are in allows them to have a way different outcome than the one that's advertised to us.
Mhm.
As a child, the only things that were advertised to me as ways to have money and do good and live good were illegal activity. No one was showing going to college and coming out having the life they wanted. Everybody I knew who went to college came out and hated their life. They still worked life away. The only jobs and occupations that were financially secure were like the medical field and becoming a lawyer. And I don't think I had the intellectual capacity for those things. So I was like, you know what? I'm finna trap like everybody else. I'm finna be a trapper.
Mhm.
So, just immediately once those jail doors closed, I sat in there 483 days, and every day in there, I just kept thinking about what I wanted to do different, how I want to be bigger, how I want to be better. So, upon release, I kind of sat and wallowed in my own self pity for
Mhm.
about a week,
Mhm.
maybe 4 or 5 days. And a good friend of mine, she sat down and gave me that pep talk, like, look, you made the mistake. You here now. What are you gonna do about it? You got to man up.
Mhm.
And that was kind of like my eye opener. Like, yeah, I had all these thoughts and high hopes in prison. Now I'm out here, and now I'm afraid of the world. So
Mhm.
you got to ante up. um I went to a thrift store. I bought me the nicest clothes I could find for the little money that I had, and
Mhm.
I started walking. I knocked on every door possible until I had me a job, and that took 2 days. 2 days of walking and knocking on every door I could find.
Okay. Do you mind me asking, did your mom and dad and your daughter come and visit you while you was in prison? And the reason I'm asking this question because I feel like sometimes when you go visit um your loved ones in prison, you feel like you in prison too, because the way they treat you, visiting, you gotta take your wig off, you gotta take a sports bra off, and this is a first-hand experience, okay, visit
Right.
somebody in prison. So, and I went to visit my cousin in a federal prison, and my luggage got lost, and I had to go buy some khakis at the Dollar General. So did you have experience when your family members come to visit you in prison or not?
Everybody I expected to come visit me didn't show up. And my mom, I understood why she couldn't, because she was in Arkansas, I was in Minnesota, and she's a very hardworking lady, and I wouldn't expect her to, miss out on work or anything to come visit me. Same with my dad; he's in Arkansas as well. And my daughter and her mom were less than an hour away, so I expected her to bring my daughter to see me at least once or twice, and that never happened. And so it shined a big light on how valuable it was for me to be in control of my circumstance at all time. I couldn't hold it against anybody for not coming to see me. I didn't feel any type of way that nobody never sent me $1 because they didn't help me go in there. I put myself in there. So they give you 3 meals in a bed, and you make the best of it. The one person who did come see me, however, a good friend of mine from school, she came to visit me as often as she could, and that was cool. It put a smile on my face and gave me something to look forward to while I was in there.
How old was your daughter when you went in?
Um, let's see, 14. So uh, she was about 7 or 8.
And how old when you came out? How old was she when you came out?
Like 9, 10.
9, 10. Okay. And I know you have a beautiful daughter, by the way.
Thank
She's
you,
very
thank you.
beautiful. So, how is it raising a daughter, and have raising the daughter changed your mindset about women?
Um, Not really. I mean, I've always been a lover of women. My mom raised me, my grandmother raised me, my big sister raised me. I've been raised by women my whole life. The only man that was in my life was my grandfather, who just passed a couple years ago. And my love for women, my respect for women couldn't be any stronger. So having my daughter just intensified that tenfold. And she's such a brilliant young lady. Like, it's, you can't even imagine where they get the smarts and the individualism that they have. And every chance she gets, she's setting me straight on something as if she's been here longer than me. Sometimes she'll make you forget who the parent is. And I have a great time with her. We laugh, we joke, and that's one of my best friends in the world. So
Okay. Also, I always wanted to ask fathers this because we listen to rap music, okay,
mhm.
and how they massages women. So, how do you teach your daughter when we listen to songs? I get around. She's a hoe. She's a bee. How do you explain that to your daughter when there's songs like that, and 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 we listen to it, and they sing it? So, how do you explain that these are the songs that their rap people are putting out, but yet and still we supposed to love them, protect them, cherish them, but it's rap songs that they're listening to. You know what I'm saying?
well, we always got to talk about the difference in between entertainment and reality,
Uh-huh.
and as well, your presentation, your character, how you're handling yourself is
Mm.
going to make a very big difference in um the what you're going to get out of the world, what you're going to get out of people. If you carry yourself a certain way, if you carry yourself in a respectful way, you tend to get respect back. So, definitely divide the understanding of entertainment and reality, as well as making sure people know to be accountable for what they're putting out there.
Okay. Oh, one more question. Andre, how do you feel your daughter about dating? Do you want to teach her like let us be running games sometime? They say
um,
they love you, but they really don't. As a father, I'm pretty sure you're very protected over her. So what you gonna teach her about men?
Well, I try to be an example of the type of man that she will want in her life. And even though being polyamorous isn't as glamorized as, monogamy. People tend to judge you and look down on you for your lifestyle choices. But overall, I always let her know that honesty is very important, and being a leader in your household and setting the example for the way things should be is very important and valuable. So when it comes to dating, like, I more so fear the guy that has to deal with her, because she's been watching me living and learning through me her entire life. She sees her mom's lifestyle and where she's at in life, and then she sees where I'm at and how I live and how I carry myself, and these worlds are diametrically different. So she's left with the idea of which one of these looks better. And from there, I assume she's going to make a decision on who to be and how to be. And from what I've seen, how she handles herself, um, we don't take no bull. We don't like to be bothered. We don't like people messing with our energy, our personal space. And I think she's going to be a very strong-minded woman, yet still capable of hearing people out and understanding where they come from. So whatever young man she chooses to date, he's going to have his hands full.
Okay, so explain to me, what is a polyamorous relationship that you're in?
So, I mean, polyamory in itself just means multiple love. So, a relationship that has more than your standard two people. There are a lot of different ways to conduct your polyamorous relationship. It means something different to everybody that's involved. But for me in particular, it simply means an open relationship. I have the ability to exercise my human freedoms without without the people that I'm dating judging me or putting stipulations and criteria on what it is that I want to do and how I want to enjoy my life.
And when did you decide to have a polyamorous relationship? What changed? What, you never wanted to be monogamous, or you just, this is something you decided in your, how old are you? I forgot to ask.
I'm 33.
Okay, so you're 33 years old. So
Mhm.
did you decide this in your 20s or your late 30s that you want
So,
this kind of relationship?
you're around monogamy your whole life. Is force
Hmm.
fed to you as
Hmm.
the only thing, the right thing. Meanwhile, majority of the people that that are in a closed relationship, they're
Hmm.
miserable. They hate their significant other. They wish they would die. They find little sneaky ways to cheat and be dishonest. And you know that's what I'm seeing from the world. Meanwhile, it's so much work for me to
Hmm.
settle down with one person. I'm breaking hearts all through high school and trying to figure out, like, why, when I like somebody so much, I still have the ability to like somebody else.
Hmm.
And I had to be around 18, 19 when I just made a conscious decision that I'd prefer to be honest with people. And if I end up alone, I end up alone. But I'm like tormenting myself trying to conform to what everybody else is telling me. And then lo and behold, I came across the relationship orientation called polyamory. And I was like, that's it. That's me. Ding, 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 ding. Like, that's built for me. And I haven't had any regrets since.
And the women in the relationship with you, they don't, they're okay with who makes the rules? You do? They do? Or y'all do?
Well, so in my particular situation,
Mhm.
the rules are equal across the board. It's freedom. It's
Mhm.
your ability to make your own decisions about what you're into and interested in. The only rules that I put on the table are that if to protect yourself, and if you're not let me know so that I can make a decision on whether or not I want to be involved with whatever it is that you're doing that might jeopardize my health. And obviously, to be honest, when it matters, certain things aren't my business. If you meet a hot dude and you trying to do whatever you do, like, that's not necessarily my business. But honest in terms of, I like what we have going on, or I'm not into this, so I want to opt out. Like, keep me in the loop. I don't need to be blindsided by waking up to the fact that I'm single because you decided that this wasn't for you. I'd appreciate you acknowledging me and communicating with me. But besides that, most polyamorous relationships, or most relationships in general, they have a lot of stipulations, and that's not what it's about to me.
Is Heff a free spirit?
Yes,
Mm,
very
okay,
much so.
very much so. Okay,
I'm
okay.
very outgoing.
Do you ever desire to have a son?
I would love to have a son, but where I'm at in life right now, I feel like um, there are enough people reproducing. It's much more valuable to me to create that generational wealth to leave behind for my baby girl and the rest of my family. I would much rather invest in that and then consider having more kids, rather than just bringing kids into the world because I'm selfish and want another seed out here.
Okay. Do you mind me asking questions about your parents? How many siblings do you have?
So my mom has me and my big sister. She's about 9 years older than me, so that would put her at about 42, going on. No, she turned 43 in December. Yeah, so she's 43. My birthday is coming up in March, so we're about 9 years apart.
And
My dad has me and two daughters younger than me, and as well two stepdaughters that are around the same age as the other girls.
and was your mom and dad married? They was together when they had you?
They got married eventually. I believe I was probably like 8 or 9 when they got married, but it was never a healthy, positive relationship. They fought like cats and dogs, um and they both like to fool around when things got irritating to them, and I always seen them at odds end. So I was kind of part of the process of pushing them away from each other, because it would be a very volatile situation, and it wasn't fun for anybody involved, especially the kids in the household. So I believe they separated completely when I was maybe 11, 12. So,
Do you think that played a, a prominent effect on you being polyamorous?
well, that definitely was a bad example of monogamy,
Hmm.
but ultimately, the most beautiful relationship I've ever seen in the world was my grandparents.
Hmm.
And like, just seeing them argue would break your heart. It was the most beautiful thing you ever seen. They talked to each other with so much care and respect, and that shaped the reality of how how people should communicate in relationships, the type of consideration you should have for your significant other and life partner. So the bad example with my parents could never outweigh the good example that my grandparents set. But I just had to be honest with myself and acknowledge the fact that monogamy just didn't suit me.
Okay. And how is you and your dad relationship? How was it? What did he teach you as a man, as a boy?
Uh, he's one of those virile men who he comes from that generation where you think with your fists. Most of everything he ever done was him being a brute a brute force in the world, and he had a lot of enemies. He had a lot of respect, and he's a bigger dude too. So
Mhm.
it it made it made me have to think a lot more,
Mhm.
because as I got older, I realized I wasn't getting his same type of size. So I
Okay.
probably wasn't going to be able to live my life the way that he lived his life.
Mhm.
And as far as what he taught me specifically,
Mhm.
really just to be a stand-up man and handle your business. But what I learned from watching him
Mhm.
was that handling everything with your fist and being so argumentative all the time, you push people away, and you find yourself being alone more often than not. And I think that's kind of what he's going through now. He's getting up in age, and he's not able to move around the same way he used to. And he's pushed a lot of people away with his hostility. And, I didn't want to market myself after that. So I started trying to handle myself different and better, and, excuse me, put a different energy out into the world.
Well, how is it, they say mama boy, so you a mama boy?
Oh, you could say that, but I left home at like 13, 14. I left home and went to Minnesota on my own.
Mhm.
So,
At
for as
14? At
much,
14 years old?
yeah, so as much as a mama boy as I was, like I didn't have attachment issues. I was eager to get out into the world and discover things that I wasn't able to learn at home.
Mhm. So, are you and your mom, hey, Five Babe, are you and your mom close now?
Yeah, best of friends, best of friends.
Best friends? Because a relationship with a mother and a son it's two different levels. So don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love my relationship with my daughter, but the relationship with my son is
Mhm.
levels to this. We get each other like two peas in a
Yeah.
pot. And so what I say is having a close relationship with your mother plays a profound respect on you as a man, as a provider. Um, so you and your mom, now um, you talk to her every day, see how she's doing, as a mother, you want your son to be better. So how did she feel when you did go to prison? Did that break her heart?
Oh, my mom cries about everything. Like she out. She's a breakdown artist. Like she just got to the point to where when I visit, she don't cry hysterically when I'm leaving.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, it's always been interesting with my mom. She's very loving and very caring. She'll give
Mhm.
a person the shirt off her back.
Okay.
So, likewise, I try to be there for her best I can, meanwhile preparing myself for the future that I'm trying to build.
Hmm. Okay. And how do you feel about absentee fathers not being in the children's life? Because you did say when you was in prison, your daughter didn't come and visit you. So how do you feel about fathers playing um uh playing a role in their children's life? Because I do feel like black men, and I'm not saying all, but I do feel like um black men need to play a more prevalent role in their children's life. I don't care if it's a girl or a boy, they still need their father, good, bad, or indifference, in anywhere he's in life financially, they need him. So how do you feel about black fathers not being in the children's life?
It's very important for a child to have their father. Um, the way that I grew up, it was mostly me and my mom.
Uh-huh.
My dad was more of an authoritative figure, and he was out of the house most of the time. So, you know, I used to say all the time that if if I needed somebody knocked off, or if I needed to fight somebody, my dad is the first person that'll pull up. But if
Mhm.
I'm $2 short on rent, shit, I'm probably gonna be homeless.
Mhm.
And you know, loving somebody for who they are is very important.
Mm,
So I think I had a much more mature outlook on the world than most kids. I'm not the
mhm,
type that gets sad a lot. Like I don't live in my emotions that way. I always seek for understanding and you know, I want things to make sense, right? And
mhm,
instead of blaming others or finding a reason to fail or be sad, I'd rather invest that energy into prevailing. So when my dad wasn't around and me and my mom would be struggling, I would look to her for different ways that she could come up and do better. And that kind of played a part in my decision to leave when I was 14. I felt like things might be easier on her if she didn't have to worry about a kid. So that kind
mhm.
of helped me leave the nest real early.
At 14 years old, Hef?
I mean, I felt like a man, so I,
You felt like, but at 14, I
yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
look
my
at
daughter's 14 now, and
yes.
she can't book an appointment without calling me. So,
So
like,
look,
it blows my mind where I was at mentally at 14 and where she's at. I'm like, dude, and she'll tell me all the time, like, Dad, everybody's not like you.
yes.
But
Mhm.
yeah, at 14, I was ready to make moves. What's happening?
But looking back, do you think that was heartache for your mom
Yeah, I
leaving?
mean, I've regretted it a lot. I think my mom and my big sister would have much different lives if I would have stayed at home and played the patriarch of the family early in life. But I thought I was relieving them of a burden.
Really?
I wanted to take care of everybody so bad, and I just had these big grand dreams at 14. I was gonna leave and change the world.
Mhm.
And life had a different plan for me, and I ended up figuring out how to take care of myself majority of the time, and there wasn't much left for anybody else. So yeah, there's some regret there.
Did you ever have a conversation with your mom, like now, like because you're 33, you know, leaving home at 14? Do y'all have conversations? Because my mother passed away, and I think about all the wasted time, you
Yeah.
know. And so, do you have conversation with your mom about you leaving home at 14 and that big elephant in the room that you felt like you was a burden to her? Because I knew that. I mean, as a mother, my son is 23, I would feel bad that my son feel like he had to leave and to leave me at 14.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pick at that wound. It's obvious that she would have preferred me to be around, and I certain things go without saying,
Yes.
and there's nothing I can do about that lost time.
Mhm.
And now I'm to a point to where um life looks the way that it does. We've had all this time apart, and now I just want to complete my mission so that I know it was all for a reason. That I didn't just leave and lose all of this time, but I actually left and accomplished something, even though it's taken me much longer to accomplish it than I would have liked.
Who to have turned to in this darkest hour?
Usually myself, but I got a good friend. It's like a brother to me. I met in Minnesota, and we went through a lot of things together. So usually he's able to provide clarity and a different outlook on the situation than I can for myself. But typically, I tend to lock myself in and look at that man in the mirror and dust myself off and tell myself to man up.
Mhm. So when did have an aha moment?
Just like ever.
Ever?
Like what was my first one or
Yes, your first aha moment.
um I don't know. I mean, I guess there's been so many. I'm trying to rate them in my mind on
Mhm.
like levels of importance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess one of the biggest aha moments for me is when I was going to school, when I was going to college, and I was going for business, and I have a business degree too,
Mm-hmm.
so like I'm one of the few people who've went to college and prison. Like that's
Oh, so
usually
yeah, did go to college? Okay, I didn't know
yeah.
that. Okay. Okay.
So one of my biggest aha moments was realizing that I pretty much paid all of that money in school for other adults to read to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of opened my mind to the ways of the world, how they manipulate us into working our lives away. And it was very frustrating and disappointing when I realized that none of the teachers that are teaching me business have a business.
Mm-hmm.
So you're essentially, sitting here reading to other adults. And I could have, bought the book and went home and read to myself. And it's interesting that the world thrives off of this industry, where college is pumping out these mindless souls that throw their lives away for corporations and careers that could care less about them. So that was one of my biggest aha moments. And, it kind of threw me for a loop when I realized that my business degree wasn't going to help me get a job. It wasn't going to help me accomplish anything. It more so just shed light on different aspects of business. But for any entrepreneur, you're just going to realize most of the things that they're telling you and teaching you are things that you already knew. You just needed somebody to confirm that information for you. So that was probably one of my biggest aha moments, is realizing how big of a scam that school was or is.
And when did you decide to go to college?
I was about 22, 23.
That before prison or after prison?
Yeah, this was before.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I kind of had my feelings about school and how worthless it was, because the only thing you need to be successful in business is the money for a startup. If you got the money to put it in motion, you tend to be good, unless your business needs some type of licensing or schooling to go along with it to allow you to do it. But most businesses, you just need the money to get involved. So once I realized my business plans, I started hustling, excuse me, trying to get that money for that startup. And, things went wrong. Things took a turn for the worse. And,
Being an entrepreneur, me too. So do you think, do some businesses fail, some businesses fail, some businesses don't fail, but you're not that person. It seemed like to me you ain't that shoulda, woulda, coulda. You're gonna start it. If it failed, you're gonna start another one. So how do you feel about some entrepreneurs, throwing in the towel after the first couple years? You know what I'm saying? The money ain't right, but how do you feel about that?
well, just because you don't want to work for somebody else doesn't mean that you have the capabilities to work for yourself.
Mhm.
Those are two totally different conversations.
Mhm.
Most people don't have the self-assurance or the accountability to to grow a wildly successful business. It's going to take more than the fact that you want to. You're going to have that hunger, that
Mhm.
obsession,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it has to be a healthy obsession. You have to be able to dive into your work and disappear from the world sometimes, and have complete tunnel vision on what it is that your goal and focus is.
Okay, because my daddy, he has his own
Mm.
business, and I watch him spend less time away from home. But the one thing that he did was after school, we had to go work with him in his
Yeah.
business. he laid carpet. So he taught me and my sister how to vacuum the floors, how in a straight line, all that. But what that taught us, he was very anal and specific and precise about how he want the floors vacuumed, and that used to irritate my nerves. But he seen a vacuum not right, he'd be like, "Come back and do it again, do it again."
Right. You ain't done.
You ain't done, yeah. So at 5 o'clock in the morning, but my daddy is 72 years old and still running his business.
Yeah.
And he taught my brothers. I got 4 brothers that have their own business. But the one thing my dad always said is, if you have your own business, you can't, nobody can't fire you, but you have to, it's not a fast race, it's a marathon, it's a journey. And so what he taught us, you have to go to it every day. You got to dress different, you got to talk different, you can't be having holes in the pants, the shirt got to be ironed. And some of his business practice have left on me and my sisters and stuff, and we're all like foster moms and stuff like that. And so what I say is, having your own business is hard, and it's a lot of work, but it is going to give you, money, success, and everything. But my dad still do it. I try to get him to retire, but he was saying some of these young people these days don't understand. They want the fast money, they want the quick money, but sometimes the fast money, quick money gonna end up in his 3 things he told us: the prison, the graveyard, and the penitentiary. So he asked us, which one do we want? And so and I'm not judging whoever walked the path of life, but lucky I did have a 2-parent home, and my mom was an entrepreneur. She had a daycare, but they taught us how to be business savvy. And sometimes I think as Black community, we're not teaching our kids that we can make money different ways. We don't got to we got to work a 9 to 5. We ain't got to we ain't got to always do it for the man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to always work that 9 to 5. If you ain't good at working at 9 to 5, because I know I ain't. I was getting right up late, right up late. And so I was like, you know what? Let me go and have my own business, because I can be my own entrepreneur, and I work successful at it, and knowing what I'm good at, what is my calling, what is my purpose. And so I think sometimes we don't recognize what is our kids' calling and their purpose at an early age, and tell them they can have an entrepreneur at an early age.
Yeah.
And so that's what I wanted to ask you. How do you feel about if your daughter said, "Dad, I want to own a little boutique, in Houston, like you're in Houston"? How would you feel? Would you finance help that with her having her own business?
I'm all for it. Parents who try and tell their kids that their passion won't make any money is usually just the parent pushing off their fears on their kids. And we're coming up in a world now to where it's obvious that there's a way to make money off of any and everything. You had parents pushing their kids to get off the video game and go outside. Meanwhile, what's the little rapper's name who did the Kick Push song? Whatever his name is, he just won like $1 million off of playing Street Fighter in a Street Fighter tournament. He made almost more money playing a video game than he did in his rap career. And there's some parent that pushed their kid to get off the video game who, that could have been him. So, everything is valuable. Lupe Fiasco. Yep.
Okay.
And everything can be valuable, especially if you have that commitment, drive, and determination.
Okay. Well, I got a question, because I have a 23-year-old son. He got an aspiration. We live in California. He wants to have a business with the marijuana. Okay, and I ain't really feeling it. And I'm like, baby, can you work on 9 to 5? You got a forklift job. You know how to do forklift. That's a good paying job. But he said, Mama, this is the kind of business I want. This is lucrative business. Is I wrong to tell my son That can we just do? Can we just not do that? Is I
Well,
wrong?
what is your issue with it? That marijuana is a narcotic? What is your main issue with it?
It's illegal. It's illegal in California. You can do it.
Yeah.
He wants to open up his own business in the store, and I'm
Mhm.
just saying, um, if that's gonna be your hustling side, can you work the forklift job and until your hustling side turns into the real job? You know,
Hmm.
you get the. My thing is, can you work the forklift job, make it $25 an hour, stay the money, get the money, and then open that store that you want. And, you know what I'm saying? Is
Well,
I wrong to say? Is I wrong to say? You know, and I guess I got a parent. I got a 2-parent home, so I guess they are always teaching weed ain't right. It's a drug. My parents are very religious. I ain't gonna lie.
right.
So I think he's saying, "Mama, this is a good lucrative business. I can do this. I got skills. He's with he go to financial school, and so he got a plan.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, as his mother, he a black boy. They pull you over. I be saying, friends can't be all in the car smoking and all that, and
Yeah.
I just don't want to lose. He's 23, lose him to the streets, and none of that. He a good son, but I'm just saying that forklift job can turn into the thug.
You see the forklift operator as something that's guaranteed and as something that's steady. Meanwhile, him growing a weed business seems more of like a fantasy.
Yeah.
It could work out. It might fail. It could go several different ways. Well, that's the point of being an entrepreneur is
Mhm.
understanding the risks, understanding liabilities, and um, in business school they teach you about what is it called? Slip my mind. Well, basically, where you analyze the probability
Mhm.
of your business coming to fruition. So
Mhm.
as long as he's able to do that and the numbers make sense and he understands how to get it off the ground, he understands that he has to be professional and
Mhm.
conduct him risk analysis. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like there was another word that I was thinking about too. But yeah, risk analysis will work. But yeah, so as long as he understands the ins and outs of it and he's not afraid to dive into it, I say go for it because it's definitely very lucrative and it's going to kill that forklift operator job. And you go kick yourself in the hindsight when you see what his business will do once it's flourishing.
Okay. I mean, his dad has his own business. I was just telling his dad, we thought that he would work in the profession that his dad was in, and he said, "Mom, I'm not interested in that. It's not something that I wanted to do." And I'm okay with that, but I sometimes feels like, um, can you do both? Can you do the forklift, keep stacking, keep doing it until that business turn into the main job? And his dad was like, No, Drea, let him do what's gonna make him happy." And
Right.
and I'm okay with what's gonna make him happy, but as a mother, I just a protective of him. I'm gonna be honest right there. I say it that way. And I just don't want, you know what they say about the weed. People be saying, you just smoking, and he ain't smoking. He just wants to think it's what him and his friends wants to do, and and have a clothing line too. Which I'm for all of that, but sometimes I feel like, um, can you do both? You can go to school and work that job. You can go to school, you can do the forklift and have the hustling side. Because I think both. You can do both. Because I do both. I got a couple jobs, so you can do both. But he is adamant in saying he ain't interested in for the forklift job. He said, I'm tired of working for the man. I'm tired of getting up early in the morning. I ain't a morning person. I'm a night owl. So I find myself in a conflict, you know, with him.
Yeah,
You,
I
I mean,
mean,
I'm asking your advice because you
yeah,
aren't.
so if as long like that's what I was looking for, not risk analysis, but feasibility.
Okay.
Is it feasible? Does he have the ability to get it off the ground?
Mm-hmm.
And if he understands, like I said, the ins and outs of it, that's what he's supposed to be doing. If he can lose sleep doing something that he's passionate at, and he's going to like, does he have a stick with it attitude, or
Yes.
is he someone who picks things up and put them down?
No, he has to stick with the attitude. He was like,
Okay, so that's the difference between most people in the world.
mm-hmm,
Um, Majority of the people that I encounter, they just don't want to work, which
mm-hmm,
means that you're going to take that same energy into your hustle that you had at your occupation.
mm-hmm,
And that's not the way you grow a successful business. The way you grow a successful business is by giving your all to it. And he's not going to be able to give his all to something if he's, worried about maintaining the forklift job. Now, you have to do what you have to do as long as you have to do it. So, to make ends meet, maybe he works the forklift job as long as necessary. But once he has the ability to give all of his time and all of his focus to growing his weed business, then it makes sense. This is what he's going to do for the rest of his days, and he's happy doing that to pay his bills. One thing about being a hustler
mm-hmm,
that's frustrating is people will ask you, what is your real job?
mm-hmm.
And
Yes, yes.
for the longest, I was always confused by the question, because I'm like, well, this is my job,
Mm-hmm,
and they're more so thinking along the lines of a job that taxes come out of, that the government is going to recognize, yada 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 yada. But ultimately, after thinking about it for years on end, I came to the conclusion they were asking me, how do you wake up and depend on your abilities to pay your bills every day,
mm-hmm,
every week, every month, every year?
mm-hmm.
You don't have anybody else to fall back on. You don't have anybody dictating the way your day goes. You don't have anybody else to blame if your bills aren't paid. You only have you and your business savvy. And that's what I started to understand it to mean, because the purpose of a job is to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're making money, you have a job. The only difference in between most occupations is that the government can benefit off of it or they can't. And if they can't benefit off of it, they go call it illegal.
Yeah.
So it's your responsibility to organize it in a way that you can give Uncle Sam his cut and you can keep on moving.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm a foster mom, and a couple of my girlfriends used to offend me. They was like, "What's your real job, girl? That's my real job." Okay,
Right, right.
I'm taking care of
Yeah.
everybody else's
I'm
kids.
working hard.
That's what I ain't got
Right.
no vacation unless I gotta pay for somebody to watch my kids. So when my girl used to say, I was like, y'all don't know. This is a real job. I got appointments. I gotta make sure the kids, get there. And they used to offend me, and I used to tell them, I said, no doubt you can work for the man. Okay, I just feel like I can do it in a different way. And my passion is I love kids, and so you know, so what have impact on young men? What's have impact on young men?
To be yourself, to be a dreamer. There's nothing wrong with that. And also know how to put the action behind your dreams so that you can bring it to fruition. And ultimately, be truthful. Be something that's admirable in the world, while everyone wants to take away, while everyone is so focused on the glamorization of being a hood dude, a hood nigga, whatever you want to call it. Be original. Do something in life that is going to be gratifying to you. Everyone else's way doesn't have to be your way. I'm frustrated with one of my nephews right now, more so his mom, because he's a great athlete, and that side of the family struggles as much as they do, and she's having discussions with me about how she should feel about him smoking weed. And
Oh yeah, we was there for that conversation that night.
yeah, so yeah, like I'm more so irritated about why is that even a discussion? Why is that even on the table? Why is he even interested in that? He wasn't smoking before, so you're saying that he's falling into peer pressure now. So that's a whole nother conversation. Weed ain't even the conversation now. We should be talking about why aren't you exploring different activities and focusing more on your craft. He has a pro level a pro level player trying to tutor him and mentor him into going pro himself. So he has people who believe in him more right now than he can even see for himself. And I'm like, we're sitting here talking about weed.
Well, how do you, as a mother, and my son
Mhm.
played football. As a mother, I thought he was gonna go to the NFL, and I ain't gonna lie. I said I want a big house with 20s on it. I told him everything I wanted if you make it to the NFL on that
Right.
first contract. Okay, but he was like, "Mama, we still gotta save money." Okay, so but the thing is, do you think that kids who come from a poverty neighborhoods, the sons are I'm not gonna say pressure, but the sons feel like they have to get their mama, sister, brother all out the hood on the backs of them. And is that pressure too much that we're putting on our sons?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely realistic, but I think that it would be worse to consider and imagine staying in the same place as them for the entirety of your life when there's so much world out here to explore. Even if you don't save the world, if you don't save your family, you can get out here and have some different experiences. While I regret leaving home at 14, I know that I got to see a whole lot of different things and
Mhm,
experience a whole lot of different things than most of my classmates. And that shaped me to be an adventurer, that shaped me to be headstrong and not care so much about what's popular, what's the new end thing, what's the new trend. I'm out here living for myself. So more than anything, I would just love for, in this case, my example to have my nephew to have these type of experiences and get out here and see something different.
mhm,
Whether you're just traveling on the football team or whether you discover that football ain't for you, but this is what the discipline from being good and great at football has taught me about life. There's so much that can come from it.
mhm,
I played football growing up, and that type of discipline stuck with me. So once I started working out, trying to have a nice body, and I wasn't able to just quit and back off on days where it was hard. Oh, I'm too tired to get up today. That wasn't in me because I had that discipline from playing football. They motivate you to move different. And so you can kind of see the same trend with people who go to the army or people who've been in the military or anybody who's had real structure and discipline in their life. Those things kind of stick with you. So I would like for him to benefit from that discipline that's being taught to him right now, while meanwhile he's being distracted by the streets and people who probably won't go anywhere in life.
mhm. Yes, Hef is going to answer the question as soon as we do. I got one more question for Hef, and then y'all can ask Hef all the questions you want to. Okay, I got one more question. I promise he'll answer all your questions. Okay, what is Hef purpose?
Oh, you kind of spinning a question you already asked me, but
I did.
um
I got to go
just
back.
just to be motivational, to inspire people to dig deep within themselves and give back in a way that makes sense for them, not to conform to society, to get out here and explore and experience the world in its entirety. There's more to life than being a wife and having kids. There's more to life than being a career woman or someone who's good at sports, or any of the things that society has pushed on us as the limits to life.
Oh,
And I think there's a whole lot of life that majority of us are going to miss out on because we're so stuck in the bubble. We live inside of a box. And I want to challenge you to think outside of that box, to step outside of that box and see what else the world has to offer you.
okay. It was something else I wanted. Oh, about your channel and Mr. O. What
Mhm.
is the player's perspective? What is the player's perspective? What is that?
So, the concept of player,
Mm-hmm.
it tends to mean someone who's juggling women. Usually somebody who's like lying to them or trying to finesse them or something like that. But for me, being a player was always more of an attitude and a aesthetic. You like smooth and tranquil environments, and you like things to go the right way. You like you just want everything to be together. You don't want any hiccups whatsoever. When you're out on a date with Hef, I want you to have a comfortable ride to the destination. I want you to feel safe and secure. I want you to walk into the establishment and feel like um, you're where you want to be, and it's fanciful, and it's inviting and welcoming, and it's disarming. Like, that's the type of experience that I want you to get when you're dealing with me. So a player's perspective is to teach people that there's a way to move like a player. I'm not telling you to manipulate and mistreat women. We're
Mm-hmm.
saying that you can carry yourself in a certain way that X's out a lot of riffraff and BS. And that's what player's perspective is here to do. Not here to offer you a different perspective, but a player's perspective.
The players like that. Okay, so who all had a question for Hef? Because I was checking out some of these questions. Everybody was getting a little acey with me. So put your think Andre, put your question in the chat if you got a question for Hef. Okay. Well, Hef, do you have any questions for me? You can ask me anything you want to. I'm an open book myself too.
Well, firstly, let's start with why you thought that I didn't like you. Let's start there. I mean, you said that you gave me a hostile response, and I didn't even notice. Honestly, like every time I hear you speak, you're a very passionate speaker. So I thought you was giving that same passion. So now you got me curious. Did I miss some shots fired at me or what?
Well, we was on that first panel, and that came out a little hot for y'all, brothers. And yeah, I'm like, well, who is she? And it was like, and so when Chef was like, Andrea, go interview Hef. I was like, he don't like me. Chef was like, huh? I was like, he don't like me. My energy was like a little tossful energy for him, but he was like, Drea, are you sure? And then we had a conversation behind the scenes, and he was like, was it the prison, Andrea? And I was like, you know what? It was the prison. You was right. And he was like, go back and look at his stuff again. Sometimes you can't judge a book by its color,
Yeah.
Andrea. You can't judge. And sometimes my friends do tell me I might be a little judgmental. Okay, sometimes they say I got to work on that. So I'm working on that. Friends
Yeah.
of mine saying I got a little better, but maybe I have some uncles who did 10, 15 years in prison for that drug stuff. And my daddy lost a lot of land that my grandmother left to us. and he have not been back to North Carolina since. He kept us moving out to the West to give us a better life. And
Yeah.
I thank God every day, because my cousins them are on drugs, and I see how drugs can mess up a family, and how it can destroy a family, and how it can, two brothers who were so tight like this, how money, power, respect can mess up a family too. And so when you said about you being in prison, I was like, here we go again. Another black man being in prison. It's the same old story. But when Chef, I shout out to the Nighthawks, that's my boys over there. But when Chef said, go back and look at him and revisit this conversation with me, I think you might see something different in him. And so
Yeah.
I sit down, I thought about it, I prayed about it, because I do gonna pray to my Lord, because he gonna give me some strength. I talked to my girls who were good Christian faith women and said, go look at his stuff. And then what inspired me by you, when I seen your daughter and how the relationship is with your daughter. And
Yeah.
I thought, we as black women, I have a father in my life, okay?
Hmm.
But some black women don't have fathers, and we do see how they get involved in bad relationships, how they get involved in relationships that's not good for them. And as I watch your TikTok and as I watch your Instagram with your daughter, I y'all look happy. It's not it's like it's genuine to me. You look happy, you look like you're loving each other, and that's a beautiful thing for a father and a daughter to love each other, because a daughter and a father, the father is the first love. So you
Right.
going the father is the first love that you have. And so I told Chef, I said, you know what, Chef, you was right. Hef is all right with me. I'm gonna contact him and I'm gonna apologize. I'm woman up to say, look, brother, I misjudged you. I
Okay.
apologize. Can you give me an interview, because I think you got something to say. And the suits, they're fascinated to me, and not that I want to be my man to be in a suit all the time, because we
Yeah.
watch Jack shoot, but it's a nice look. It's a nice look. Sometimes it's you look good in that suit when I see you, and I was like, and so that's why I didn't think you liked me. I come off my passion to come off as an angry black woman, and I tell everybody I ain't angry. I'm just a little passionate. That's it.
Right. Right.
But coming from a family of seven, I have seven
Hmm.
sisters and brothers. I'm a twin. My mother has
Oh wow.
seven. Yeah, I'm a twin. I have a twin sister. My mother has seven kids, and all these personalities she have to deal with. We all vying for her love and attention. So, as I'm the loudest in the room, as I'm passionate in the room, yes, I am. But
Right.
um, that's what the thing was. And with me, when Chef said go back and relook at him and check out his stuff, and sometimes, Andre, you can't judge a book by its cover. So when I told Chef that I feel like you didn't like me, that was the whole point. When I said I don't think he liked me, I think I come off a little strong. And I know Mr. O said, are you coming over here, being nice tonight, or you coming over I'm coming to peace. I'm coming to peace. you know
Nah, I mean, honestly, that wasn't even the vibe that I picked up. So, and I tend to be very dismissive when it comes to like negative energy and stuff like that. Like, I was always that person who made excuses for people before they were able to give me their excuse. Oh,
Mhm,
she just having a bad day, or
mhm,
like I've always been that way, and I
mhm,
didn't even pick up on that when it came to you,
uh-huh,
especially when you got to speaking about children and the foster kids and things of that nature. Um, it resonated with me a lot, and I felt
mhm,
like we agreed on a lot of the issues with these kids that are displaced because of bad or poor judgment on the moms and dads who brought them into this world.
mhm,
So I actually thought we were more like-minded than not. So
we are. I maybe sometimes I internalize, because sometimes my passion can come off the wrong way, and it can bother somebody the wrong way if you don't know me, if you don't understand who I am, and if you don't understand that I'm just a little passionate. That's it, and I ain't trying to hurt nobody, but I just Andrea Lynch is like, he don't like me. Girl, you talk too damn much. Girl, he don't like me because and my friends was like, and so I told a guy friend of mine, he lives in Texas too, and I was like, I'm gonna interview this guy named Heff, and I was like, I said I had to apologize to him. He was like, Greg, what you do? Misjudged him? Did you? You got a problem with that? He already told me that. I said, yeah, I misjudged him. I said, but I apologize for misjudging him, and I'm coming up and say, look, I apologize to my brother. Can you still give me the interview, and can you forgive me, because and maybe my own background of me and going to prison and watching my dad be hurt by the land, the money, and the like, all of that we lose. And that's generational wealth. My grandma left all that land to us. And so when we leave all that land, and we keep saying how generational wealth for our children, but yet and still we got Uncle and Pookie and Ray Ray over there messing up the land, and we gonna give it to the feds.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where I felt like but I didn't know your story. I didn't come at you and say, well, look, brother, can you tell me what your story is, until I seen your Instagram, until I seen your TikTok. And I apologize to this day. I have no problem telling you that. No problem. But I love your TikTok. I love your daughter and your relationship with your daughter, because I definitely think we need Black men in our daughters' life, so they won't be susceptible to being abused, being misrepresentative, getting messed over, because sometimes you have that with not having a father in your life. And I do think about when you said your daughter didn't come visit when you was incarcerated. That's a hurtful thing, and you will never forget about that.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarkona said, she said, your husband and now your son rebuilding generational wealth. Yes, we are. And how do you feel about generational wealth?
I mean, it's everything. It's something that we all should be taught about. Our society thrives off of inequality, so everyone having this aha moment where they want to be an entrepreneur, well, our society crumbles if that happens. We need somebody taking out the trash. We need somebody flipping the burgers, and so we all can't do it. Luckily, there are enough uninspired people who will usually take over the mundane jobs of society. But for those of us who can muster up the strength, have the skill and know-how, have the unction, I think it's important and valuable for us to create that, especially if you're someone who believes in bringing children into the world. I think it's a very great disservice to your lineage when you're having kids just for the sake of having kids. That mom who never had a man that she can trust and love the way that she wants to, she can't wait to have a son and raise him to be that man that she always wanted. I mean, that's cool and all, but what about his other needs in this world? Same for these little girls.
But do you feel like we're raising our sons to be the men we wanted in our significant other?
Yes, most women definitely. Mr. O has a name for him. He calls him Aiden. Little Aiden, huh?
You call him little Aiden?
Yeah, little Aiden. That's our name for the that son that women are raising to be their man instead of a man.
So can I elaborate? I'm like, I got a little pushback on that.
come on
So
with it.
we're raising our sons to be the man that we want. Why we just can't be raising our sons to be the better man, to be a better man than the fathers that we had, maybe the brothers that we had? Why we just can't be raising our sons to be men, better men, and just be better men for any woman, any relationship they're gonna be in?
Well, I believe someone as introspective as yourself would do that, but we're talking about majority here. The majority, you can look at the way they conduct their relationship with their sons, and they'll dress him like that rapper that they love and that they want to be with. They will call him their little king and try and give him authority around the house. And this little dude's only 5. He barely got down wiping his ass, and you want people to come in your house and have to answer to him about certain things, and just the way they go about how they deal with this young man is it has a very incestuous nature.
Okay. Do you think at a certain age a black boy should go live with his father? Because my son at 10, 11, at 11 years old, I sent him to live with his daddy, because I'm a woman, female. His daddy is a man, and a man should raise a son to show a son what a man's supposed to do. So do you feel as us black mothers are keeping our sons with us instead of sending him to the father who can raise him, look like him, show him how to be the man?
It has a lot of value to it, but I won't sit here and discredit women like they can't be strong-minded and emotionally mature enough to guide a young man in the right direction. A lot of those young men that you see do
Mhm,
great things in life, they do so under the guise of being there for a great and awesome mom, and they had absentee fathers. So, a lot of men want to be in their children's life, which they deserve the right to be. But for them to push the narrative that a woman can't make it happen, it's not going to be as easy. You know, I can remember my big sister saying, show your nephew how to pee in the toilet because I sit down when I pee.
mhm,
That's something that she can't do.
mhm,
Um, Meanwhile, certain instances aside, if you are a a woman who is a thinker and you're handling your business and you're you on top of your job, your son will pick up on that and he will understand likewise. um it's it's assumed that all women have this emotional immaturity that we see on what is it, reality TV and all of that ignorance, and we
mhm,
want that to be every woman, and that's
mhm,
just not the case.
mhm,
Um a woman like Michelle Obama could probably raise a son by herself and him come out a well-to-do little boy, young man, should I say.
mhm. Okay, okay. But do you hear? I mean, just be honest and tell the truth. You do hear a lot of black brothers are saying the baby mamas ain't let me see the child. She arguing over money. We going to child support. We doing this. We doing
And
that. We
that's
doing
the
all
woman that I'm talking about.
okay. And
That
so you
these
do
the
hear.
ones who shouldn't have had a kid in the first place. We have enough people on this planet
Mhm,
already. It's not like we're at a lack of people. So
mhm,
when you're one of the people who
mhm,
bring life into this world and you're bickering about money and finance, and your dad's moved on and got a new family, he don't love you no more. Like, when you
mhm,
come in with that ignorance, you shouldn't have been welcomed in the club anyways.
mhm,
You're undeserving of this type of opportunity.
mhm. And well, how do you feel about the, because I'm on both sides of the fence. I ain't gonna lie. I took my ex-husband to child support service and the divorce court too. I know how to
Yeah.
get that down too. But most brothers are good providers and saying they want to be a daddy, and the baby mama, she cussing him out because he in a new relationship. The baby mama not happy. He get a new job. She want more money. And so, how do you feel when you hear them brothers who are saying she's taking all my money to child support and I can't live, I can't do nothing? Do you feel sympathy for them, or do you feel empathy for them, or do you say, honey, maybe you shouldn't pick a right woman to have a baby with you? How do you feel about that?
All of the above.
Mhm,
It resonates with me. I was taking the child support court, and
mhm,
um, the the first time the judge looked at our case, and he
mhm,
was like, "Well, the father's the only person in the household that's been working this whole time and financing you guys' life. So, we're going to give him the minimum because he's been doing his part all this time. So, there's no need to change that. So, I know that won't be everyone's circumstances,
mhm,
but that being my own experience, and they consider Minnesota to be a woman's state. They tend to do the utmost for mothers in Minnesota, and to have that type of reaction from a judge was kind of um it was gratifying in itself to acknowledge, like, not everybody is just against fathers out here. And it would be nice if it was like that across the board, but at the end of the day, you are responsible for your decision making, just like I'm responsible for my daughter's mom. Great woman, she's cool or whatever, but I wish that I would have been more selective when choosing who was going to be the mother of my child. But at the end of the day, if you are being taken to child support court and they're taking everything from you, it would be valuable and beneficial for you to do everything that you can to get your bag right, so that you can fight back, get that lawyer, get that attorney, and go fight for your rights, and that joint custody and everything that will kind of level the playing field.
okay. You got any more questions from me, Heff? I'm good.
um and In particular, well, on the lighter side,
Mhm.
which one of these seven kids were you? Are you the middle child? Is that why you were always loud? Because it was hard for you to be heard.
You know what? It's three under me and two above me, and so
Okay.
yes, we was the middle children.
Yeah.
I'm my mother's daughter. I am her wildest child. I'm the asking the why, why we got to do this, why we got to do this, and I'm always asking the question to her. And honey, that used to get me in trouble with my mama. Okay, she didn't like
Mhm.
me asking why, and my daddy show didn't like it either. But I'm their wild child. I'm a social butterfly. I like to do things. I have a creative mind. I like to ask questions, and I want the answers got to make sense to me. If it don't make sense, I'm gonna keep asking the question until people give me the answers that I'm looking for, or the answers that I think we're not asking the question. And so when people say, if you see Andrea Lynch around the YouTube streets, she gonna be saying, can I ask a question? Because that's my running theme, and that's what I love, to ask questions. And I love sports. I love gossip. We have a show called That's That Bullshit. Shout out to my girl, Real Mama's Real Problems. Shout out to Bother Mimi and Jada LaRue for helping me with this show. But we have this show called That's That Bullshit, and we've been doing it maybe about 2 years now. And
Okay.
we love it because me and my partner, we collab together, but she know who I am and I know who she is, and I know about sports, she know about celebrities, so we bring two together, and we got an awesome team. And so
Okay.
I have always wanted to be a freelance photographer before I had children, before I had a husband, before I found my purpose. And and celebrity news. I watch a lot of reality TV. I watch a lot of I watch a lot of Instagram. I get a lot of ideas and newsworthy, not just like I love Anderson Cooper. That's my favorite player. And Don Lemon. And so I like the correspondent, but always coming up with a new story, always coming up with a new idea. But at the same time, I don't want to rag on my community. I love my community. I just think we can get better as a people, and I just sometimes think we need to do better as people. And when I see Black women and Black men are not doing better, I ask myself, what is I'm doing in my community not not giving enough? Because don't get me wrong, the most thing I see now is African American girls are dying under the age of 25 by the hands of their boyfriend, and they're just not killing the woman, they're killing the children now too. And so I ask myself all the time, what if I'm doing not to help my community? Now I get my kids young because I could change and shape and mold them as a young age. But what about Pookie and Ray Ray when they turn 18? The foster care system is kicking them out the system. They're on the street. They gotta find a way to hustle. They gotta find a way to go to prison. And so I have a community or foster moms, and we're all asking ourselves, what can we do better for our community? And just being a foster mom is gratitude. It has gave me the joy and a purpose that I have never fulfilled in my life. And I always wanted more kids. Don't get me wrong. When I got divorced, I wanted 4 kids. When my girlfriend was saying I was crying at 28, she's like, "Girl, you need more kids. You need more kids. You need more kids." But my adopted kids came in my life, and I feel like the God, He heard me, and I wanted 4 kids. So now I got the 4 kids that I want. And the one thing I don't have to do is argue over a man about some money with my last set of kids, because me and their dad was arguing over money, cars, things in front of the kids, in which it took our kids to almost had to pick a side, which one they want, mama, daddy. And maybe me as a mature woman, I didn't have the maturity of talking to him and saying, "I'm mad, I still love you, I want our family back," and he moved on. And so I act out as an angry Black woman in front of my children, in front of him, and I went to therapy, and now we can laugh, kiki, and when we come pick up the kids, we can have lunch as a family, and our kids can see us as a mother and a father who's not together but still love each other as a family.
Right.
And that's what something I wanted my kids to know. When we had them, we loved each other. And even though he's not a good husband for me, he's a good father. And I've been knowing this man ever since I was a baby. He's a twin too. And so our families are friends. And so I just wanted to be better. And I didn't have the communication skills because I got married young. And so I I tell my sisters I wasn't the good ex-wife. I was a Pookie in the Ray Way. I want my sisters to be better women if they go through divorce.
Yeah.
Don't argue. Don't fight in front of the kids. Try to have a better relationship with their father. Everything ain't gotta be a fight. Everything ain't gotta be he got a new woman and you still loving him. Go heal yourself. And
And what about what you could teach them to prevent divorce?
um you know what? Even though we got a divorce, we don't like the same thing. Okay, we don't like the same thing. He's a little I could say he's a little different than I am. I like my brothers, and I ain't gonna I like them street, a little hood, a little bit, and he's a little I mean, I could my man could work a 9 to 5, but he's straight and narrow, and always gonna be that way, and that's fine. Don't get me wrong. I always knew he was a good man. It just wasn't a man for me, and I did not know that going into the marriage, because had I known that I would have never married him. I would have found somebody who's compatible for me, who loves me the way I want to be loved, and who don't try to change me and stifle my growth.
Yeah.
which he was. I wasn't gonna be that woman who stayed home. I mean, that woman who stayed home, cook, clean, and iron, take care of the kids. I feel like I was losing myself in the kids and him, and didn't know who I was, and
Mhm.
and 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 I punished him for leaving me. But he done me the best. He done me the best thing for leaving me. So now I love me. I know what I want. I know what I can, what's best for me. And he's happy. He's been married 8. He's been married 8 years. He's happy for who he is, who he married to, and God bless him. And I say more power to him. But I do not want a Ryan Lynch back in my life. And but he's a good man and a good provider. He's just not good for me.
Yeah.
And so it's okay. I mean, I come to the illusion that's still my friend. We had kids. We are good parents. And sometimes you can love somebody from a distance and wish them well. And I will always have love for the man. The man taught me how to drive. The man was my first at everything. The man taught me how to give me money. The man on my divorce cruise gave me $1,000. So can I say what's bad? Andrea Lynch was a crazy ass baby mama, not him. So I say that to say we just don't see eye to eye on things. I think our kids should go to a black college. He don't say why. He don't feel that way. I feel like you ain't got to wear everything. Got a suit towel. He said why. So I want my brother to be a little swag. He ain't like that. He's still wearing them khakis, them Sears. I don't want my brother wearing khakis, and so we're totally different in in areas, and that's okay. He left home at 16. I didn't leave home until 22. Marry him. Who I didn't know who I was, but he knew who he was, and it's
And
okay.
so you got a tinge of toxicity in you. It's
No,
just
I'm not toxicity no more, boo. Okay. But I know who I am. I know what I want, and I know I'm a woman. I can love, but I want things a certain different. I don't want you to dictate. And at the end of the day, to this day, I still feel like he talked to me as a little girl and not the woman that I am today. He still feels like he got to, are you paying your bills on time? Are you saving money? And he was all of that. He was a dictatorship. And look, God forgive me. I love my father, but that's how he was. And I ain't like that either. And God rest my mama's soul. No, I don't like that.
so it's not at all comforting that somebody cares about what's going on in your immediate life.
Oh, it's comforting. And honey, he has given me plenty of advice and books to read. And he's always read. Don't get me wrong. He has, whenever I need Bella now, he have came through for me. But at the same time, is we don't mix as in the sense we liking the same thing. He can he can he can he can still be my kid's father and look out for me in the sense, and that's okay. But I feel like I have financial freedom from him, and that was liberating for me. I don't have to ask him for money. I ain't got to beg you to pay your child support. I was taking care of myself. I was hustling, and the hustling came from him, watching him. Because when he started his own business, we were barely making it. And 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 we worked that business up. We worked that business up. Hold on 1 minute.
Go ahead.
Don't get me wrong, that was liberating. That way. That was liberating. That was liberating but he taught me everything about business. He taught me everything. And it's okay. I'm okay with that. Okay. Plug that. So he taught me everything. So it's okay that we're not together. It's okay that we're co-parenting, and nobody said co-parenting was easy either. Okay, that's been difficult. but it's okay. I'm not toxicity. I just like things the way I like it, and I want somebody in my life who appreciate me and who appreciate the no dictatorship. How about that?
That's
I feel
fair.
like I feel like I love my dad. Don't get me wrong, my dad is my hero, but he would go buy things and then don't have a conversation with my mother. I feel like as the wife, and yes, it's our money, but we can't have a conversation. You can make a big purchase. I'm just asking.
Well, I mean, if he's footing the bill for the majority of these things, he should have the leeway to make some decisions on his own behalf without consulting the missus.
And y'all brothers always feel like y'all gonna have to conversate with us, and it seems like it's almost saying I don't value your opinion. I don't value how you feel. I'm just asking the question.
Well, I think in a relationship, if your big purchase is going to affect our ability to take care of our livelihood or some of our finances,
Mhm.
our responsibilities, then I would appreciate a conversation.
Yeah.
But if this is just you being a woman, and
Mhm.
you spend majority of the day taking care of the kids, and
Mhm.
or whatever the case may be, taking care of the household, taking care of me. If I come home and you done bought a new washer or something that's gonna help you out around the house, cool. If you done went and bought that bag that's gonna make you feel better about yourself, cool.
Mhm.
Certain things you have to allow your woman to be a woman, and a woman has to allow her man to be a man.
Mhm.
And understanding the value that this is going to bring to you guys' relationship is important.
Okay. I mean, I'll take your advice on the consideration have, but no, I'm not a toxic woman. I'm a Aquarius. We are loyal to the fault, and we're down to earth. But sometimes don't cross us in the wrong way, because we will sit back and think about how we gonna get you back. I'll put it that way.
Have you ever researched the origin of astrological signs? Like, do you know where they come from?
No, I don't. But I
Because
can be looking for them.
so it's like this regurgitated information that we throw out about our zodiacs is very interesting and funny. It implies that um, the way the stars line up, they affect how we think and or handle ourselves, and it's very irrational. It's very illogical, and I like that people get into stuff. You know what I'm saying? Whenever somebody's passionate about something, I support it. But at the end of the day, um, if you think about the millions of Pisces, the millions of every zodiac that's out there, to think that these people act a certain way just because of the month that they're born in, it seems a little crazy. Just a little crazy.
So crazy. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I get along with a bunch of Aquarius women and Aquarius people. I think because we're all in January, we get along good. We understand each other. We feel each other. We think the same. It's so many. I have friends, two friends of mine. Their birthdays are in January, and we all feel the same way. And when my ex-husband's birthday is in August, I'm like, see, that's why we didn't get along that good. His birthday is in August. We didn't get along that good. But people who I meet who are January and twins, we get along good because we understand each other. And sometimes I do think my sign is something that I didn't think about until I got older and start thinking meeting people, and they said, "Oh, my birthday's in January," and I'm like, "When?" Because mine's Aquarius, and they was like, "I am too," and it was like that's how we start talking, and like we like this, and we like that, and when how we feel. I have a sister named Summer Breeze. Our birthday's in January, and we got the same mentality about things, and so. I tend to get along with people and area signs, water sign people too. I tend to get along with them kind of people better than some people who has other things. But it is what it is. But I thank you, Hef. I appreciate you coming up, and you did a good job. Okay, you answered all my questions, and
I appreciate it. I
and,
appreciate the opportunity.
thank you. Shout out to Hef, and go support his channel. Go share and subscribe. It's in the description box. Shout out to Jada Ruler helping us. And so we hope that I come back on y'all panel, and I will always give you some love.
You have the freedom to come through whenever you want. You have the keys to player's perspective. Unlock the door, come on in, get yourself comfortable.
Okay, well, thank you, and you shout out to you and your beautiful daughter, because she is beautiful, and
Thank you.
well done as a brother who have changed his life and who's trying to be better as a person. And
Of
shout out to
course.
your parents for giving something different. And I appreciate you giving me this interview. Hopefully, I am trying, because this brother right here is giving me hell, okay? Because he said I had to do this interview first before I can get him. Okay, so I'm gonna send him this clip and say, "Look, did I do a good job? Can I get this interview with you?" Because he gonna be famous. Okay, I'm trying to get the interview before I got to pay for it, and so
Okay.
I can get the interview. But I thank you, and your thumbnail. When they put them together, I was like, "Oh, look at me have like a couple right there." But thank you so much, and I really appreciate it. And you have
For
a nice
sure, for
day.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always here for you, baby girl.
Okay. You take care.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye.